Welcome back to Nerf Diagnostic and Repair, the show where I show the diagnostic techniques and repair techniques for fixing blasters. Usually sent to me by you guys, though for the next couple of months I will be triaging and repairing blasters for Afterworlds. They brought me 3 totes of blasters to try to repair, and that should be a lot of fun. Part of this episode will be triaging those bins and seeing what in them is actually worth repairing and what isn't, and then we'll go from there. So, the first blaster for today is this Persis that was brought to me by Lance Corporal Bay Browning of the Auxiliary, and this was modded for him by someone else. It was modded for 3S, but it quit working, and then the jack in there has pushed in. It looks like it was hot glued in place, and now you can't actually use it. So I'm going to be replacing that with a proper surface-mounted one. And we're also going to see if we can figure out why it had quit working in the first place, because apparently it had. Go ahead and get my soldering iron fired up, because we're going to need that. But let's get into this thing. Well, there's why it's not working. Broken solder. Alright, so I've got the surface mount XT60 connector in there. It just bolts in. Luckily, the hole is exactly the same. I just had to drill 2 additional holes on either side for the 2 little bolts to go in. And so that's now mounted. Now I just need to resolder it, which should not be too difficult, and that should be it. Oh dear. I must moisten my sponge. I think I see whoever did this previously had issues. Not a lot of room in here if you don't extend the wires. Okay, a little bit of extra cable management, and now it is skookum. Let's plug in a battery. Make sure it does not explode. We're good. Okay. Much better. Solder joints are solid. Let's button it up. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Hitherto.
That's silly. Alright, make sure it still works. It does indeed. Alright. So that one was simple enough. It's always nice when they're not too complicated. So, takeaway here. Make sure your solder joints are solid. I think the position of the original jack was they had to lose this screw post, and I think they didn't cut off enough on the top shell. They cut out the bottom shell, but I think the upper shell came down and actually broke that solder joint. That's my guess, anyway. Yeah. And then the hot glue just didn't hold, so surface mounted is better, solder is solid, everything still seems to be working, so I will get this back to Lance Corporal Bay Browning, which incidentally is the guy who gave me the golf cart, so yeah, he's good people. So yeah, we'll get this back to him. And now, some triage after these messages. Nerf Diagnostic and Repair is sponsored by Foam Blast, who sent me this magnificent screwdriver in my colors. It's exactly the right size for pretty much every Nerf blaster out there, and I love it. Check out their website at foamblastshop.com for all your Nerf modding needs. For those of you unfamiliar with the word triage, it's the process of going through the wounded and determining who can be saved and who should be saved first. And in this case, we're going to be going through and figuring out which blasters are worth the effort, because a lot of these are old N-Strike blasters and frankly aren't worth the effort it would take to get them working again. And even if I could, they wouldn't work well enough to be very useful. Others have probably damage beyond anything that I'm going to be able to easily repair, and the replacement costs would be worth more than the blaster, and so on and so forth. But there should be some, hopefully, in here that are worth the effort, and we're going to take a look and see what we've got. Up on the top of the bin, we have a Vulcan, which... Oh, Lord, what is that? I hope that's not battery acid. That's probably battery acid. That's battery acid. Lord, that's, okay. Okay, oh... Right, well, that'll be a fun one to, It crystallized. Yeah, okay, so that one, that's probably what's wrong with it, but wherever it's been sitting that caused that kind of corrosion may also have damaged the internals. So we will pop it open, see if the motor is any good, take a look at the wiring. If we can get it to work, that one is worth the effort just because of it's fun. Likewise, we have a Tommy. Got a Mech Tommy 20 here that has clearly led a pretty rough life. I'd be amazed if those motors are any good. Same thing. We'll check the battery housing, see how bad it is. Pop it open, check the motors, see if they work at all. If we can get it to work, it's not a bad blaster. I might throw some replacement motors in there. I do have lots of like Strife motors, and that's a living spider. Lovely, lovely. Murder, murder you, sir, murder. All right. So that one is a yes. We'll give that one a try. We got a pair of painted Recons. I don't know that there's actually anything wrong with them. I think they were mostly just donated more to the shop, actually, but I may see about just opening up and doing some basic maintenance on them. They would be good loaners at Afterworlds, potentially. We've got the bipod from that. Got another painted stock, which I don't hate. Alright, we have a barricade that's also clearly been, sitting in the dirt, so, I mean, it won't even properly rotate. Which I'm not sure why. Probably pine needles or something in there. That one again, we'll pop it open, we'll take a look. If the motors are bad, the motors are bad. The switches are also probably all toast. Here's another one. Same story. Oof. Oof. Tragic. Alright. Dart Zone Hyperfire. These can take a decent spring upgrade, so once again, this one is one I probably will give a try to. It is rotating nicely, so there is that. I mean, they were never powerful to begin with, but again, you can upgrade them, so we will give that one a try. Same with this one. I might be able to upgrade the spring enough to make it worth the effort. We'll definitely need to open it up and clean it. Strong arm. Not rotating, probably because it's full of pine needles. So, same story there. We'll see if we can get it to rotate again. If not, we'll strip it for parts. Another barricade. This one has batteries, I think. It rotates. It's not in quite as grody condition on the outside. So, we'll pop that one open, see what can be done with it. And the rest of this bin, Mavericks. Been painted, so that's neat, but they're just not worth the effort. I mean, they might even still work. I will probably go through them and test them and see which ones are worse. There isn't this. Oh, that just makes me sad. Okay. But in all likelihood, those ones will get stripped for parts, and I will do a video on parting out blasters, what parts are worthwhile. I think I've done one before, but I'll do another one. So that's the first bin. We'll take a look at the second bin after a word from our sponsor.
Fast.
Inspiring. The next bin has some more interesting stuff that actually has some potential. We have a crossfire thing, I think. Ooh. Probably some life still in that. We have a very nice painted rough cut, which, as far as I can tell, appears to work. I will obviously need to actually fire some darts through it, see how bad off it is. Another crossfire. Ooh. That one sounds a little bit chunky. Couple of Raiders. Again, arguably not worth the effort because of how weak they are inherently. Even if I could get them working, I can't get decent kits for them, so they're really more valuable for parts to me. Couple of Recons, oh, that are really full of gunk, that are really in that same line, being reverse plunger springers. There's just not much you can do with them. Another one of these, Hyperfire. Not a particularly inspiring paint job, but we'll give that one a go. A Recon Mark II. Now this, I could potentially do something with. If I can get it all cleaned up, I could actually get a decent spring for this and make this thing live again. So this one is definitely on the give it a try pile. Couple of Night Finders. They obviously have potential. They just need to get cleaned and the general, you know, maybe a spring upgrade. Not anything crazy like K26 for Afterworlds, but maybe take the ARs out, pad the plunger heads. Those would live. Same thing with the Fire Strike. Oh, just needs to get cleaned and worked on. We have an original Alpha Trooper. As much as I love the Alpha Trooper, the original one is reverse plunger, and it really kind of falls into that category of there's not much I can do with it because I can't get springs for it. So even if I could get it working again, it wouldn't work particularly well. Got one of these. Oh. That thing has led a rough life. Not sure there's much I can do with it. I know they don't have shells for it, so this one's also is kind of a, is it worth the effort? Probably not. And last but not least, we have a double dealer that is, of course, all kinds of messed up. Oh, I don't even know what happened to that. These things are notorious for jamming on a good day, though I hear there are some things that can be done. This thing has dang near been busted in half. It almost looks like there's stress cracks here. The front part of the shell's all busted up. I don't know if somebody dropped it, kicked it, ran it over, tried forcing it, or what, but that'll be an interesting one to pop open and take a look at just because these are so weird in general. One more bin. The last bin, I'm not even sure they actually want me to repair, and I'm not sure they actually need it. These things are pretty robust. But it's all Vortex. Vortex used to be a special ammo type at Afterworlds, and so they had a bunch of them. And now it isn't a special ammo type, but there is still a bin full of them. There's magazines in here. There's a couple of the magazine-fed ones, a whole bunch of the non-magazine-fed ones. I will reach out to Udo and see if he actually wants these back or if they were just a donation. They are also been left in piles that are full of pine cones and crawly things. So all they would need, honestly, would be a clean. Though they all have probably been sitting primed for most of their life because you can't deprime Vortex. So their springs might be a little bit worn, but it's Vortex, so it's a lot more forgiving, but again, all I can really do to them is clean them. I can't upgrade the springs or anything. I can't replace the springs. You know, I could give them a clean, just open them up, just show you guys what the internals are like, and clean them out and put them all back together again. But again, awful lot of work for no payout if they're not going to be used. So we'll see. Right, well that's it for Nerf Diagnostic and Repair today. As I said, I'm not currently taking new requests. I've got those bins to go through, and then I will start taking new requests again. And I will let you guys know when that happens. In the meantime, feel free to email me if you have questions about diagnostic and repair. I can try to walk you through it. I can give you what steps I would go through, and you can try them yourselves. But I'm not taking new ones now because I just don't have time or space at the moment. So, there you have it. Hope this was helpful to at least somebody, and thank you guys for watching.